Solve the following triangle, and here we're given side A, it's a length of 12, side B equals 7, and side C equals 10. First thing we want to do here is just draw out the triangle, right? We want to know, based on the given information, which law to use, the law of sines or the law of cosines, right? We are given that side A is 12, side B is 7, and side C is 10. Okay? So notice, well, wait a minute, okay, here I have all three sides, right? This is an SSS triangle because we know all three sides, okay? In this case, we have to use the law of cosines, right? And you have to remember here, right? Well, we're actually trying to find the angles first, right? There's three different versions for the law of cosines. It's just based on the letters, right? Which one we're trying to find. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one we pick. So let's do C, right? So C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times the cosine of C, right? You notice in this case, well, I actually know the value of side C, right? I also know the value of side A and for side B. So actually what we're solving for is angle C in this case, okay? So now we want to just plug in what we know, right? Okay, I know that C is 10, right? A is 12 and B is 7. So we know that 10 squared equals 12 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 7 times 12 times the cosine of C. So actually we're just trying to find, right, what the cosine of C is equal to. Okay, once we do all the math here, right, we get the 100 goes 144 plus 49. In this case, we can just go ahead, multiply 2 times 7 times 12. Okay, that gives us 168 times the cosine of C. Now, in this case, where we want to isolate the cosine of C, right? Now here, this is just a little bit of algebra here. We can add the 144 plus the 49, right? That gives us 193. Okay. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the 168 cosine C to the left. I'm going to subtract the 100 to the right. So we get 168 cosine of C equals 193 minus 100, which is 93. So the cosine of C is equal to 93 divided by 168. Okay. Now, of course, this number, right, we should be able to sort of determine what that is, right? So just use your calculators, 93 divided by 168, okay, that gives us, I'm just going to round this, right, 0.553, and, keeps going, right? Remember, don't, I'm not going to write out the whole number, right? So, of course, make sure you get this value here, right? Remember, C is the cosine inverse of this number, okay? So don't round this number. Okay, just keep it in your calculators, do the cosine inverse of this guy, right? You should get that C, okay, in this case, we get 56.4 degrees, right? We get 56.4 degrees, right? That's what C is going to equal here. Okay, so that's good, right? Now we have the value of angle C. We still need to find the value of angle A and angle B. Okay, so there's two ways to do this. You can use the law of cosines again. Okay, using the law of cosines again, we could find angle A, right? Or we can just use the law of sines, which is the most common approach, right? So the sine of A over 12 equals the sine of B over 7, which equals the sine of C, which we know now, right? 56.4 degrees all over 10, right? So in this case, it doesn't really matter which ratio we'll use. We'll just use the first one that we see here, okay? We'll solve for the sine of B, right? So sine of B over 7 equals sine of 56.4 over 10. We'll cross multiply these, right? So 10 times the sine of B equals the sine of 56.4 times 7, okay? So then sine of B, right, is just equal to 7 times the sine of 56.4, all of that over 10, okay? Now we know that in order to solve this, we need to get this the sine inverse, right? Okay, so B is going to be the sine inverse of all of this guy right here, okay? When you calculate this, 7 times the sine of 56.4 divided by 10 we get about 0.58 and some change after that, right? Remember, don't round this. Keep the whole number in your calculator and just do sine inverse of that number. We should get 35.7 degrees, right? So that's B. It's 35.7. Now, once again, you could use the law of sines again, okay, to find the value of angle A, but in this case, we already know the other two angles, right? We know that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees, okay? So we'll just take 180 and we'll just subtract these guys, and that should give us our answer here, right? So angle A then is going to equal 87.9 degrees.